In this Killing Floor 2 Berserker guide, I'm going to share with you the top 10 tips that will help you be more effective as a Berserker. Hey guys, it's Chris with B&B Gaming. Welcome back, and I hope you're doing awesome today. Thanks a lot for supporting the channel with all your likes and shares and comments. The channel has definitely been growing and I appreciate it. Now to start with guys, what is the role of the Killing Floor 2 Berserker? It's to aggro and slow down the rush of enemies and to block rage flesh pounds and scrakes for your teammates. Because the Berserker has the ability to absorb so much damage and is the only class that can really effectively block enemies without taking a ton of damage, this allows the Berserker to take on this role. And this is a really critical role. If you're playing Suicidal or Hell on Earth or trying to do the weekly outbreak and you see that there's not a Berserker in the room, definitely switch to Berserker because it can make a big difference. Now I've layered these Killing Floor 2 Berserker tips for the new player all the way down to the later tips will be more advanced tips. Tip number 1, if you just started playing Berserker, he's going to really suck until you get to level 10. Because at level 5 and level 10 is where you get the health boost skills. Now if you don't want to go through the drudgery of leveling up your Berserker to level 5 and level 10 and play on normal and play on hard and probably struggle mightily, I have a couple tips for you. The first thing you can do is actually run melee weapons on another perk. So say you have a level 25 gunslinger or supporter or whatever class, you just run melee weapons on that class, specifically on the early waves where the enemies are a lot easier to kill, and that will level up your Berserker pretty quickly to level 5. The reason this works is because the weapons you use are tied to a specific perk. So in this case, melee weapons are tied to the Berserker. Another way to level up your Berserker actually really fast to level 5 or even level 10 is run the Descent map. Now you want to run it on the highest difficulty that you can beat the boss on, because the boss gives you the majority of the XP. I believe it's like 20 or 25%, and you want to run it on the shortest amount of waves. So you're basically speed running the Descent, and you can actually level up really fast. Tip number 2 for new Berserkers, aim for the head always. Even on the highest difficulties, Zeds have far less health in their heads. Tip number 3, movement affects the way you swing your weapon. So practice with different weapons. So if you move to left or right, you do a horizontal strike. If you move forwards, you do a vertical slice. If you move backwards, you do a diagonal slice. And if you click the right thumbstick on console, you do either a stab or a bash. Tip number 4, be careful of the Husks. Now especially on Suicidal and Hell on Earth, if they suicide, boom, you're dead. Now there are a couple ways you can actually handle them. The first way is make sure you're not wasting your EMP grenades and you always have a couple on you. What you can do is just throw the EMP grenade on the Husk and it will keep them from suiciding. Another way you can handle Husks is actually taking care of them at range. One way high level players like to take care of Husks is actually carry a Desert Eagle pistol on their Berserker. Now one shot from the Desert Eagle pistol will detonate a Husk backpack. Now me personally, I'm starting to really like the nail gun, so I'll buy the katana and then my next purchase will be the nail gun until I get the Eviscerator. Now a third way you can take care of Husks is actually just call them out to teammates. Most players on Suicidal and Hell on Earth know that the Husk is very dangerous and they're going to take care of them very quickly. Tip number 5, I have 2 Killing Floor 2 Berserker builds that are nearly invincible. The first Berserker build is the Wall Berserker. Now this Berserker runs Dreadnaught and Vampire and utilizes a team medic. You'll see this Berserker build used on Prison and Farmhouse quite a bit to beat the weekly outbreaks. Basically what teams do is they'll put a Berserker, say for example on Prison, at the entrance to the guard tower and have a medic behind them healing them the whole time. Because of the massive amounts of health you get from Dreadnaught, it makes them pretty much invincible. Killing Floor 2 Berserker build number 2, the Skirmisher Berserker. Now the Skirmisher Berserker uses both Skirmisher and Vampire plus Parry. Now all three of these skills work together, and the important skill here is parry, which I'm going to go into in the next tip. Tip number 6, practice and use the parry skill. The reason why is it gives you 35% bonus damage to your light and heavy attacks and 40% damage reduction for 10 seconds. In addition, parry will allow you to de-rage flesh pounds. The way flesh pounds work is basically they'll keep raging and attacking until they hit something. Well, if you parry them, you'll de-rage them, get the damage boost, get the damage reduction, and get a couple hits on them before they rage again. Now, one important tip to know about parry is that you can actually parry cancel. Just like you can reload cancel and save yourself some seconds, you can do the same thing with parry. The thing about parry is, if you parry and miss the parry, there's a cooldown on it, so you can't parry immediately afterwards. However, you can get past this by parry canceling. Just hitting reload with any of the melee weapons is going to parry cancel them. With the Eviscerator, you need to hit the bash button to parry cancel. One important thing to know about parry is you want to hold in the button after you parry, even if you miss it. That way you're still blocking the shot and reducing the damage. Now, a good strategy for dealing with large Zeds with parry is actually get the parry first before attacking them. One thing you can do with flesh pounds is just walk up to them, let them rage on you, get the parry, let them de-rage, and just unload your Eviscerator. Now, the goal with parry is to keep that parry buff going. So as you're playing on Suicidal or even Hell on Earth, your goal is to always keep the parry going. So you never want to lose that buff because it can go bad really fast. Tip number 7, wait until after wave 2 or even 3 to buy another weapon as a Berserker. You can actually run the Kroval, the starting weapon for the Berserker, on waves 1 and 2 and do really well with it. Instead, you want to donate your DOSH to the team medic so they can get their medic AR as soon as possible. Killing Floor 2 Berserker tip number 8. Don't buy armor until you've maxed out your loadout and help max out your team's loadout. Me personally, I don't buy armor on the Berserker until I reach the boss wave. Tip number 9. Once you reach level 25 as a Berserker, you want to run Spartan. Now, Spartan gives you a couple advantages. The first advantage is that it will allow you to target high value targets during Z time. So, for example, you want to target the Husks or even get a couple shots in on a Flesh Pound or Scrake. The nice thing about Spartan in Z time is it would allow you to shoot 4 to 5 blades with the Eviscerator and annihilate anything in front of you. Another use for Spartan in Z time is just running away if you're in trouble. I know this has saved me multiple times. Tip number 10 for the Eviscerator. First of all, you can parry with the Eviscerator, which will give you a big damage boost. Another thing to know about the Eviscerator is that the Smash perk buffs the range attack and the Butcher skill buffs the melee/saw attack. Now, this is debatable. Some people have said it doesn't, but if you try it out yourself, you'll see it does. And the final thing to know about the Eviscerator is that crouching will improve your ranged accuracy. Tip number 11, and this is for the Bone Crusher, that if you're blocking with the shield, that the shield will actually block bullets, so it'll block Hand's machine guns and the Patriarch's minigun. In addition, it will block the Patriarch's rockets and block the Husks' fireballs and flamethrower. If you are looking to stay up to date on the latest Killing Floor 2 news and tips and tricks videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Until next time, guys, this is Chris. Have an awesome one.